Batter up.
Rock and Chris, they're on the air. Yankees, Mets, they're everywhere. From the Bronx to Queens, the diamond gleams. MLB talk, the ultimate team. MLB is the place to be. Rock and Chris with the pitch you'll see. Swinging stacks and stories fly. Baseball talk that's amplified.
And welcome to a new episode of NYMLB Talk with your hosts, Rob and Chris, as we cover the Mets, Yankees, and all of Major League Baseball. And if you're on YouTube right now, hit that sub button. We'd really appreciate it. Hit that like button as well. That would be awesome. Share it if you can. And also, if you want to follow us on Twitter, on TikTok, it's at NYMLB Talk. Rob is at R Maraska. Myself at CP7NY. So, Rob, what is going on? We both won today. How about that?
This is a rare thing this season. The Mets and Yankees win on the same day and in the daytime. So I don't know.
Impressive.
With the way the Mets play and with the Yankees playing the Rays, that is pretty impressive, actually.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we got to get into some of this because we're hearing a lot of, well, we heard it from Cohen actually saying it, right? With the whole, there was issues with Soto and Lindor. Now there isn't, or it isn't as bad. I mean, come on. We're talking about two guys. One guy's making about $50 million a year. The other guy's making over $30 million a year. You're going to tell me these two guys can't coexist on a baseball team? Like we all, like, I'll say real quick, like we've all worked somewhere, and I'm sure we've all worked with other people, with a bunch of people. I'm sure there's a couple of people that you didn't really get along with, but you know what? You worked because it was your job. You had to do what you had to do, and you got along with them on the job. Maybe you didn't go hang out with them after work, but you know what? You still had to do what you had to do at work. So why can't these two adults making ridiculous amounts of money just get along enough to play baseball? What's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. And Chris, it's like, and teams, great teams have not always got along. Okay. I'm gonna go back to the 70s with the Oakland A's. All right. Those guys did not get along. I don't think anybody liked Reggie on that team. And they won 3 straight World Series, right? So you could win if you don't like each other. You just have to play, you just have to play baseball. You have to be civil. I don't know what is going on in that clubhouse. Could it be that Lindor was a little jealous with the contract that Soto got from the Mets, record-breaking contract. Lindor was supposedly on his way to becoming Mets captain, and Steve Cohen put a stop to that, like we've talked about many times. And you said, Steve Cohen said, as long as he owns the Mets, there's not going to be a captain, which I don't understand that either. Like why should the owner even be involved in that stuff? Right.
Right. I agree. To me, it makes no sense. That's something he should have backed away from that. Because sometimes, you know what? The team needs a captain. They need to name a captain. Maybe a guy wants to be named captain. Like Lindor still has, 5 more years left on his contract. So you know what? Maybe he wants to be the captain. He's been here for a while now. Maybe he wants to be the leader of this team, right? Because there's no more Alonso, right? No more Nimmo. Both of those guys were leaders on this team, and they're gone. So maybe he wants to pick up the mantle and be that guy. So I don't know. To me, it didn't make sense. And now, you start hearing people say, like Mike Francesco was saying, I've been hearing they want to move him. They want to trade him because he's the problem on the team. Okay, let's think about this for a second, right?
Okay.
All right, Lindor, he's got the full no trade. He could, if he doesn't want to go, he's going nowhere, right?
Exactly.
They could come up to him and say, listen, we want to move you. You're like, well, I'm not going anywhere. That's what he's got in his contract. So if he doesn't want to go, he's obviously ain't moving anywhere. And 2, you also got to get a team that wants to take on that contract, right? He's going to be 33, I think, in November. So next year, whenever next year starts, right, with the whole work stoppage, he's going to be 33 years old, and he's going to have 5 years left on his deal, making over $30 million a year. So you're talking $150 million for a guy. You know, I'm not saying he's past his prime or he's not going to have any more good years, but once you get to 33, it's like, you know, every year could be that last year before you start falling off a cliff. So
you're right.
So does another team want to take that money, or does the Mets want to eat some of that money to move him? And that's it. I don't know if Cohen will want to eat that kind of money. You know, like he's lost money the last couple of years. You think he wants to, you know, throw away more money? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. So they basically they have got to get their act together. They have to figure this out because it's ridiculous. And like I said, the way the Mets are playing and all the confusion, and it's just a big mess. They're wasting prime years. And I've said this before. I said this on last night when we were with the other guys, and I've been saying it. They're wasting Soto's prime years, Soto's great years. They're just wasting. And that this is going to be the second year they wasted. You know, he's not getting younger. He's going to get older. So they have to figure this out, Chris, because right now it's a mess. And it just looks like if there's a full 2027 season, it looks like there's still going to be a mess.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Like that, like you said, they have to figure this out. Obviously, this year is probably a wash now. It's probably done. Right, they're probably going to sell it at the trade deadline. Who are they going to end up selling? We don't know yet, but you know it's looking in that direction. Unless you know they get hot here in the next couple of weeks, which I don't think that's going to happen. You don't think that's going to happen. You watch this team more than I do, so it's a mess. It really is a mess because you got your two highest paid players now, you know, fighting. Well, everything is supposed to be cool, right?
Yeah,
everything is supposed to be better
right.
now, and I hope it is. I mean, we're talking about two adults making ridiculous amounts of money, and you can't get along just to play baseball. Like, just who cares?
Really?
You know,
you don't.
Like,
you don't have to go on vacation with each other. You don't have to have dinner with each other. Just get along in the clubhouse, play, get along on the field, play baseball, and that's it. And Soto looks like. Listen, Soto comes there. Soto plays baseball. You know. He knows, no matter what's going to happen, he's going to hit his home runs. He's going to hit for average. He's going to walk. He's going to do everything that Soto does, right? Without, it doesn't even look like effort sometimes, you know? He just does it. So if both of them play, and Soto has both years, even though he started off slow last year, if they just play the way they're supposed to play, right there, that's a great punch right there, 1-2 punch. But the Mets, I don't know. It's just a mess. Another injury today. Okay, Mark Vientos gets hit by a pitch today. And the Mets did take 2 out of 3 from the Royals, but they should have swept that series. So that just tells me they're really not going anywhere because they blew the first game of that series with the big lead. But so Vientos is injured. All right, Vientos, that guy drives me crazy because he'll hit a home run, he'll hit a solo home run, and he can't feel that first base. That's another problem. First base. You know, Polanco's back, but what's he going to DH a lot? It's a mess. This team, there's no way this team is going to have a winning streak where they're going to get back into the wild card race. I don't think so anyway.
Do you think they're going to bring up Clifford now? That's maybe a little sooner because now there's a spot opened up, right?
You know what? They showed that they're willing to bring the kids up, right? So why not at this point? Unless they really think he's not ready.
Right.
Let's see what he could do with first base, because who's going to play first base? Polanco can't play first every day. What are you going to put Beatty there? Beatty's been a mess too, all over the place. He's all over the place. And, the team that, David Stern said, I'm going to, this team is going to be made up of great defensive players. That's why they got rid of Nimmo. Yeah, okay. What are you talking about? They got rid of Nimmo. That's why they got rid of Nimmo. Yeah, okay. What are you talking about? That's why they got rid of Nimmo. That's why they got rid of Nimmo. That's why they got rid of Nimmo. Yeah, okay. What are you talking about? That's why they got rid of Nimmo. Yeah, okay. What are you talking about? That's why they got rid of Nimmo. Yeah, okay. What are you talking about? That's why they got rid of Nimmo. Yeah, okay. What are you talking about? That's why they got rid of Nimmo. Yeah, okay. What are you talking about? That's why they got rid of Nimmo. Yeah, okay. What are you talking about? That's why they got rid of Nimmo. Yeah, okay. What are you talking about? That's why they got rid of Nimmo. Yeah, okay. What are you talking about? That's why they got rid of Nimmo. Yeah, okay. What are you talking about? That's why they got rid of Nimmo. Yeah, okay. What are you talking about? That's why they got rid of Nimmo. Yeah, okay. What are you talking about? That's why they got rid it's been anything but that, and we know
Mhm.
from all the errors that they make. It's just crazy.
He
So
brought it. They traded him. They got rid of Nimmo and brought back Simeon. Yeah, he's got a Gold Glove, but that was a few years ago, and he's definitely not the same player
no,
that he was. Right? I mean, this is a guy that won the MVP, but he's nowhere near that type of player anymore. Um, so I don't know. Yes,
yes,
let's go.
yes,
Exactly. We are
we
going to
are.
talk about the Yankees for
Yeah.
sure.
All right. So
Um,
let's switch. All right. First, I want to put that picture up for a second. Put that Mets puppet. This is great. I love this picture, and I think until the Mets get rid of David Stearns, we might put this up every show, because to me that says it all. Bill the Mets puppet hitting David Stearns in the face with a pie. You gotta love that. That's great, isn't that, Chris?
yes, I think every Mets fan would appreciate that. I don't think, right?
Bill, hey Bill, I may put this up every show. Yeah, Puppet Bill definitely had to do it. We can't wait
And Bill,
until
this I'm just giving you a great idea. Like this should be, you could do like a comic strip with Puppet Bill doing all kinds of stuff like this. Like you got a gold mine on your hand here with Puppet Bill in an animated form, not just in real life form, but you got
right.
a great one in this too. This would be awesome, I think.
Oh yeah, I think so. And anytime you want me to help you with it, Bill, I'll do it, because
Definitely, yeah.
that
I
is
mean,
great.
obviously, this is awesome, but
Yeah, so we're gonna
yeah,
save that. I might put that up every show until something's
you
done,
know
because
what?
it's just
Uh,
great.
I think every Mets fan would appreciate that.
I think so.
Did Pizarro watch the game today? Of course, I was watching the game today. I mean, I'll be honest. Talking about the Yankees quickly,
Yeah.
going into the game, I thought there's no shot at us winning that game. Give me my visual. Yes,
You're welcome, Bill.
I think every Mets fan's paying a little
Yeah.
visual there.
So all right, so let's get into Yankees for a little bit then. All right.
Well,
The
going into this game, right?
yeah,
They did win the first game, then they lost the next two in the series. So going into game 4, they had lost 2 straight. They had a bullpen game, and they were going against Rasmussen, who owns the Yankees. I think he
right.
hasn't given up more than 2 runs in a game pitched against the Yankees in his career. So it did not look good going in. But you know what? The Yankee bats actually woke up today. Ben Rice hit a couple of home runs, drove in 5 RBIs on his own. I mean, they played like the Yankees that we seen a couple of months ago when they were playing really good. Even right after Judge went down, they were actually playing this good, which
Right.
Was great. So like this is what they're capable of doing, and they just beat the team that basically has owned them and also is in first place. So this is just a glimmer of what they could do if they just played the way they're supposed to play. Like stop making the fielding errors, right? The strikeouts were ridiculous. I mean, it was getting out of hand, but today they turned it around and actually started playing well. I just hope this continues now. It wasn't just a one game thing. So
Yeah, now, but Chris, we have to get into this Volpe thing, okay? We got into the Lindor and Soto thing, so let's get into this Volpe thing. What is going on with him?
you know what? It's very strange, I have to say, right? What do you call it? Joel Sherman and
Yeah.
also Michael Kay reported that when he was down in AAA, they asked him to play second base, to learn how to play second base while he was down there. And supposedly he said, no, I'm a shortstop. And that kind of killed all that, right? So they started saying what they were saying. Then a little bit afterwards, they said, oh, it's not true, right? And Volpe came out and said, oh, no, I'll do anything for the team. I'll play catcher if they want me to do it. So for me, it looks a little suspicious. I don't think Sherman, Joel Sherman and Michael Kay would make up a story just for clicks, right? Just for whatever. To me, it doesn't make sense. Like maybe this really did happen. And now the Yankees told them, like, listen, we may want to trade this guy at the trade deadline. So, let's kind of retract that because we need to keep his value as high as we can. So maybe that's a part of it on why it came out that, oh, they apologized for saying that it's not true and all that. So it just seems very fishy. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, it does seem fishy to me. I mean, first of all, because Michael K, both of them said it, right? Or
Right.
well, one of them wrote it, but both of them, and then all of a sudden they both retract it. Why? If they didn't collaborate on this, why would they both first say it happened and then retract it? Unless the Yankees reached out to him, especially Michael K. I mean, on his ESPN show, he's not, under that Yankee, thumb, not under the Yankees' thumb, or we think not. But I mean, they could have said some stuff with him,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. It just seems fishy to me, Chris. I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah, I agree. No, it's definitely strange. And listen, and Volpe shouldn't get anywhere near the hatred he should be getting right out there. He's not as bad as it seems. And I get it. Caballero, before he got hurt, was playing great at shortstop. But to me, he's more of like a utility guy. He's probably a little better at second base, but he played great before he got hurt. And he was supposed to go back to being the shortstop, but Volpe was up and he was playing a little better. So they just kind of stuck with him. So that's why I think there was, but just recently Caballero played. He's playing fine at short. So why not just keep him there? But now you got Volpe. What are you going to do with him? He can only play short, right? Yeah. We just went over this. So you kind of stuck with him having to go there. Volpe playing short, and then Caballero, they got to find a spot for him. But I don't know. It's just a not a great situation. And with the trade deadline, I think we're going to see some movement, right? And I think Volpe to me is the perfect change of scenery guy, right? I think he needs to leave. Like he needs to be traded because right now, listen, he's not even the future shortstop anymore. He's not even the present day shortstop,
right?
Because they like Caballero there right now. So he's not the present day or the future shortstop anymore, right? Because the future shortstop is George Lombard, and he's getting better right now. He was injured. He's coming close to returning. So I think once he gets back, and even Cashman said it today in his little press conference, he said Lombard is going to be an option in the second half of the season, right? So I think once he gets back playing, give him a couple of weeks, I think you might see him here up in August, maybe in September. So, and either way, he's going to be the starter probably next season at short, right? So Volpe really doesn't have a spot here. So I could see him being moved at the deadline. I really do. And I think it'll be the best thing for him. Go play in wherever, Houston or whatever. Yeah. And you know what? You could just fit in nice. You're not going to be the next Derek Jeter there or whatever, right? You're just going to be Anthony Volpe. So just go there. I like the kid. Trust me, I don't want to trade him because I don't like him. I like the kid, but I think trading him is probably going to be, the best thing for him.
Listen, I agree with you. They really, from the start, this kid, what they did to this kid, you can't compare. We've talked about this a ton of time, but you can't say he's going to be the next Jeter, because right there, you're just killing the kid. And the Yankees, they've done this before with Bobby Mercer and Mantle, right? Mercer's going to be the next Mantle, and he couldn't live up to it.
Nobody can.
No. So you think you would learn from the past. You can't do this kind of stuff. And it's also, the press and the writers and everybody, they go along with this stuff too. The next calling somebody the next Willie Mays or the next Hank Aaron or whatever. Don't call anyone. They're not.
There you go, Rob.
Bill,
what do you think of that?
Well, we talked about this. I said, could you imagine if Lindor gets, if the Mets make a deal with the Yankees and they get Volpe and the Yankees get Lindor?
Oh, God.
I don't know if that's happening. That's not happening because the Yankees already have their shortstop of the future, or we think they do. Remember, Volpe was supposed to be that. So
it makes it. I'll tell you why it does make sense.
Yes, it
because
does.
number one, okay, they need a shortstop now, right? Because you got
Right.
Volpe and Caballero, you know, Lindor would bring some kind of he would, you know, you would have a real shortstop sitting there, right?
Right.
So to me, it makes sense in that sense, right? Yeah, it is a temporary fix, yes,
Right.
and it also fits this way too, Rob. Like, doesn't Lindor's wife work for the mayor, right?
Right.
So Lindor would probably, I think he would okay a trade to the Yankees because then his wife did, you know, they don't really have to move. They could
Yeah.
still, she could still work for, you know, the mayor and everything is cool. I think this is the only place he would want to trade to be traded
Me
to
too.
because, right, anywhere else, he, you know, she'd have to quit her job most likely or whatever. They
Yeah.
have to uproot the family. I'm sure he has kids.
Yeah,
So,
he does have kids. Yeah, of course. So yeah, I agree
right.
with you.
So
No.
think about that. Would like him.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course, you know.
definitely. But
Absolutely.
I don't see that happening now. Hi, Joe Dell. I really don't see that happening.
I
But
don't
let's
yeah, I
get
don't
back.
but it's
Let
funny to think about it. I agree.
Yeah,
It's
definitely it is. And that was good, Bill. That was really good. Chris, let's get back to Volpe real quick. So say he did say he's a shortstop and he refused to play second base. I mean, didn't he look at Devers last year and what happened, you know, when he refused to play first base and the
yeah,
Red Sox just traded him, and now look at him, you know. That the
I
Giants, that was
agree.
bad. That was bad.
If he
Giants,
did say it, I think he was having his Derek Jeter moment, right? Because Derek Jeter
okay.
had that moment in the minors, right? Before he even came up, you know, he was making a lot of errors down in the minors, and they kind of came, you know, they went up to him like, hey, maybe maybe you could switch to the outfield, and you know, you might be better there. And he said, no, I'm a shortstop. I'm going to play
Yeah,
shortstop. Yeah, I mean, he said this when he was in the minors. This
I
wasn't a guy
know.
who came up, right, and all that stuff. No.
No.
So maybe that's what Volpe was trying to channel here. He was trying to channel Derek Jeter, and listen, I hope that he turns it around and he does
Yeah,
become, you know, this really, you know, great. I don't want to use great, but really good shortstop, right? He was a first round draft pick, so he's highly touted, all that stuff. And we've seen, you know, we've seen glimpses of a guy that could be a really good shortstop, right? He's got some pop, he's got some speed. You know, he won a Gold Glove already at short, so you know he could play the position. You know, maybe he could be that guy. Maybe he could be a
right.
2020 guy, 30-30 maybe, but maybe
Maybe.
2020 is reasonable for him. Um, but um, but yeah, I don't know. I really think this might be the year that they trade him. You know,
Yeah,
um,
and I agree with what you said. You know what? He probably needs a fresh start. You
yeah,
know, like you said, go be Anthony Volpe with Houston or you know whatever team. But I think you're right. So I agree with that 100%. But other than that, the Yankees won today. The Mets won today. So today's a good day
now we
for the
play
Yankees.
the Nationals next. Who do you guys play next?
Yeah, you play the Nationals, and hold on a second
Yeah, we
because
go to Washington also.
you play you and you know what is going on with Washington, right? With the way they're playing ball. The Mets are playing Boston, by the way, this weekend. Remember, I went on the Boston show last night.
Yes.
It's because the Mets are playing Boston, but and it's going to be Sonny Gray against McLean tomorrow night, so that should be hopefully that's a good pitching duel, but you never know what's going to happen.
That is true.
But getting back to the Yankees and Washington, you know, Washington gives up a lot of runs, but they score a lot of runs.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm hoping they give up a lot of runs against the Yankees. I'm
They
hoping
might
so.
score a lot of runs too.
Yeah.
You
Listen,
might
yeah,
go,
I mean we did score a lot of runs today. Hopefully that carries over into Washington as well. But Washington, like you know, that they've played really well this year, right? Their lineup is hitting the ball. I think they got the best offense in the league. You got Woods there, and then you got the shortstop CJ Abrams, who might be
yeah,
traded, which would be crazy. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun series for the Yankees,
yeah,
and I think you guys against Boston. Boston's playing great now, right? I
Of
think they're
course they are.
two games out of a wild card,
Yes,
which is crazy to think.
I know. So I guess they fired their manager at the right time. Speaking of which, not only
Speaking of which,
did he get fired, but his brother was, well, they came to an understanding with he was the third base coach for the Detroit Tigers, and they've parted ways. Let's see. Did you hear about that?
yes, I
Chris?
did see that.
Okay, you know why they parted ways, because he was too aggressive and he was sending runners home and they were just getting thrown out at the plate. So
Yeah, by like a mile, right? Like they were just I seen a couple of them and it was really bad. So and listen, and Cora, I remember Cora being on like Seattle, just being that, that really good utility infielder, short guy, that pesky player that's always
Right.
on a team, especially back in the 90s and 80s, right? Every team had one or wanted one of those kind of type of players on their team. So I'm surprised, I'm surprised he didn't really become a better third base coach. You would think he would have been better, but I'm just surprised. But yeah, they let him go because, like you said, he just wasn't doing his job right. So we'll see. Maybe his brother will pick him up and they'll come together and go somewhere next year as a manager and third base coach.
Maybe, but he was a third base coach for the Mets before he went to Detroit, and
was he as bad with the Mets too? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. I remember yelling. He's sending some, guys at the plate.
There you go. If you could remember a third base coach, he's bad.
I do.
Right? We don't remember a good third base coach. We don't be like, oh, he was a good sender. No.
No, you don't.
You only remember the
of
bad
course
ones.
Not. So let's switch around. We got a bunch of other stuff coming up. I wanted to ask you about this. The home run derby. Everybody loves the home run derby, right?
Yep.
They're changing the format. No more timing. No, the minutes and all that stuff.
Good.
Do you agree with that?
Yes, I like the old style. I do. I like
do
the classic style. And I think Harper announced today he's doing it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. Harper, it's in Philly, so Harper's going to participate, and he said that he's in it to win it. So
it would be
what do you
cool if
think
him
about
and
that?
Schwarber were in it, right?
Yeah,
that would be cool.
I think so.
Right? They could even maybe get to the end together. I don't know, but the American League, I think it's Ben Rice, what's his name? The kid from Tampa, the third baseman, Caminero.
I didn't even see. Yeah, I didn't even see that. Yeah,
and the guy from the Royals announced it this morning or yesterday that he's going to be in it. Cagliano, yeah, he's in it. So it's good. The fans want to see these guys in it, just like the fans in the NBA want to see their guys do the slam dunk challenge, right?
Right.
The MLB fans want to see the big home run guys in the home run derby, right? Because that's how it used to be in the old ways. So I like it. All these guys are all big name guys. Cagliano is, he's starting to have a better season. Like he started off a little slow, but again, another WBC guy, by the way.
Right.
But
that's right.
But he's turned it on. He's really been hot the last month or so. But But there's going to be, I'm telling you, Rob, like we were talking about it early in the season, there is going to be a study. There's going to be a show on it. Mark my words. It ain't going to be us because I don't think we're smart enough to get into that much detail. But a lot of these players that played in the WBC this year struggled early, and some are still struggling, right? We've seen it, like Cal Raleigh, right? He's still batting under 200.
Yeah.
Gunnar Henderson. I know our good friend Matt Patterson, he tells me, we talk about it every day, how bad Gunnar Henderson is hitting for the Baltimore Orioles, right? So trust me, a lot of these guys are still struggling. Some of them have turned it around and got it going, but there's something to it, and I'm sure they're going to get into it.
And bring it up, Matt, real quick. I don't think he thought that the Orioles were going to be this bad this year. You know,
No, I don't think anybody did.
no,
It's crazy. Just like with the Mets. I mean, I don't think obviously the payrolls are different, but still, I think they expected Baltimore to be more in the race, right? To
right,
be a playoff team here, not a team that's in last place, in the division. It's not what I was thinking either. Even if you didn't think they'd make the playoffs, you thought, man, they'd be right there fighting for it. I mean, they're not totally out of it, right?
yeah,
For the wild card, let me see where they are in the wild card. They are, let's see, they're 12 and a half games out of first place in the division. They're
yeah.
last, so they're 12 and a half games behind the Tampa. But right now, to be honest, they're only 4 games out of a wild card
They
spot,
so that
right? But that's
they
the
have a
American League.
shot. Yeah, everybody in the American League has a shot. It's like it's
There's
just crazy.
there's 2
That's
teams that
what
are out of it right now. You could say the Angels at 9.5
right.
out, the
Yeah.
Royals at 9 games out. But everybody
Okay.
else, like the A's, are 5.5.
They still could listen. Get on a winning streak. You never know. I doubt they're
That's all
going
you have
to
to
do it.
do.
And really, if they make the postseason, that brings up another problem that we've talked
boy.
about for Major League Baseball. How could you have the postseason in that stadium? Okay,
Right.
They'd have to
And then-
switch. They can't. Just
Right.
money wise, Chris. Money wise, they'd have to. They just have to switch. But I don't
Yeah.
think they're going to even have to worry about that. But you
No,
never
I
know.
don't think they trust me. I think the league is going to make sure that doesn't happen. Right? I don't think they're going to make sure the A's do not make the playoffs this year.
Yeah,
They do
that's
not need a playoff game in a AAA stadium.
no. But what about I wanted to ask you, since we were talking about the All-Star game, what about Sonny Gray? Do you think he should be on that All-Star roster and that he sort of got kicked out of it?
Definitely. I think so. I think he was 9-1. I think he's 9-1. I could be wrong, but
Is he, or is he 12-1?
12-1. Oh. Is he really 12-1?
I don't know. Check it out. Is he 12-1 or is he 9-1? I forgot. Let me just see.
Man, if he is that good, Jesus.
Let's see. So, I mean, he's having a good year.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm trying to get, of course, my computer's slow. So, see if you could get that up right now, Chris. Well,
yeah.
He should be. I think he should be, but there's not enough room for everyone because you have to have one guy from every team on, right?
Right.
So that and which makes sense because you want everybody to at least have one player who's there. Let's see.
He's 10-1.
Okay, 10-1. So we're both off.
10-1 with a 2.61 ERA.
Okay, well, yeah. So he should be. He probably should be, but just like Wheeler, okay, is pissed off that he's not on the All-Star roster, right? I mean,
but I think they did name him All-Star, right?
Oh, did they? Okay, I don't know.
I read something today on Twitter that they did because
they probably did.
It was the thing. They didn't at first, right? Because he's pitching on Sunday.
Yeah. Right.
The Sunday before, right? So he was going to pitch that Sunday, but now he said today, I could pitch Tuesday because that's my bullpen day.
Yeah.
So he could still come out and probably throw an inning or even get a couple of outs, right? So, I mean, they should have named him to the All-Star team regardless and let him make the decision. Make him say, listen, guys, I can't go.
Yeah.
I can't pitch.
Exactly.
I'll show up. It's my home stadium. I'll definitely go, whatever. But he's a guy that they should have put in for sure.
Yeah, definitely for sure. We'll see what happens. Okay, so bring up sad news for in the Mets world. The passing of former pitching coach Phil Reagan. He was a pitching coach under Mickey Callaway in 2019, And I was in touch with Mickey yesterday, and Mickey said Phil was the most respected baseball coach in the organization by everyone. His wealth of knowledge about the game was invaluable to the game of baseball, a true baseball treasure. And I know Mickey was bummed about hearing about this yesterday because, he told me really sad, and it is really sad. And do you know, Phil Reagan actually, when the Mets fired him after that year, he actually sued the Mets for age discrimination. And then I guess it was he felt, dissed because he was in an organization. He did what they want. They brought him up because if you remember that year, they probably should have made the postseason, and they didn't because they had such a great pitching staff. So they brought him in to fit, help try to fix it. But he was also a pretty good pitcher himself. He pitched for 14 years. His nickname was the Vulture, and he was 96 and 81 with a 3.84 ERA. Listen to this. In 1960 with the Dodgers, he made the All-Star team. He was 14-1 with a 1.69 ERA and 21 saves. It was reliever. Think about that. That was an awesome season.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so, sad news. I just wanted to bring that up and, just let you guys know that that I was in touch with Mickey about that, and this is what his quote was. So, may he rest in peace.
And he was named when he was like 82 years old, right?
Yeah, that's coach. Why he said yes.
That's pretty amazing, right? When you think about it, being named a pitching coach at 82. But you know what? It worked. I mean, the pitchers were really good that year.
And listen, the funny thing is he used to run to the mound and run, back to the dugout. And the fans loved that. They loved it. And, when he was let go, they said that was one of the things that they were going to miss about him. And another barely former Met, I'm saying barely former Met, Justin Verlander announced his retirement after this season. Chris, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, that guy's he's definitely a future Hall of Famer. He killed the Yankees a bunch of times, obviously, with the Astros and with Detroit. So, but yeah, he's definitely going he'll be a first ballot. I know he doesn't have the 300 wins, but we ain't seeing that anymore. No. But this is as close as we're going to get, right? 266 career wins, 3.33 career ERA, over 3,500 strikeouts, 9-time All-Star. I don't think that includes this year.
No,
Rookie of the Year, won MVP, 3-time Cy Young, Triple Crown winner, 2-time World Series champion, ALCS MVP, Player of the Year. I mean, this guy is going to be a Hall of Famer without a doubt. One of the best we've seen. And to me, like, he's a guy that a pitcher like Mizorowski should watch, right? Because Verlander was a guy who could throw 100, right? But he didn't throw 100 all game. Like Mizorowski's thrown 100 from pitch one till his last pitch. He's throwing over 100 miles an hour. But Verlander just I think he saved a lot during the game. This way, like he would just get guys out, and then 6th inning, 7th inning, when he needed, right, when he needed that extra juice on his fastball, he still had it in the 7th inning, right? So he would throw 102 there. And look at the career he had. I mean, this is a guy that lasted a long time. I know he's been hurt his last couple of seasons, but I mean, you talk about a guy who's 43 years old right now. And he's still he's still trying to pitch, and he was still an okay pitcher there at the end up until, like I said, the last couple of years he's been injured. But you know what? He lasted at 39 years old, only 4 years ago, at 39 years old with Houston the year before you guys got him. He won 18 games. Yep. He won the Cy Young that year, 218 strikeouts, 1.7 ERA. At 39 years old.
amazing.
How many
right?
39-year-olds we see do that, especially now?
Exactly. And he did win his 250th game as a Met. So at least there's one thing the Mets got. But see,
16 games with you guys. He pitched
yeah,
16 games.
but bringing this up with the Hall of Fame, right? He's a guy who should be 100% on every ballot
Yeah,
for the Hall of Fame. That shouldn't even be a question.
right.
And let's see what happens. There's always going to be one guy who doesn't vote for him because they don't want him to go in 100%. You
Yeah.
know?
It's going to happen.
And let's look down in history. Mariano's the only one who made it in at 100%, right?
Yep.
That's it. Think of the players. Every other Hall of Famer didn't get 100% of the votes.
Right.
So we're talking Babe Ruth. We're talking Ty Cobb. We're talking Seaver. Seaver came close. Griffey came close. We're talking just Ted Williams. How could those guys not get 100% of the votes, Chris?
Yep. It's amazing. And like you said, you can name any player you want, any great player that ever played this game, and they did not get 100% of the votes. Not one, except for Mariano Rivera. And I'm not saying Mariano Rivera didn't deserve it. He definitely deserved it. But so did all these other people. Like, I mean, almost, I would say, let's say 90% of the people the players in the Hall of Fame probably deserved 100%. Right? Like when you looked at them, you're like, oh yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. It wasn't like, maybe, maybe not. On his career was when he came to Queens.
Yeah. Well, we didn't think it was going to turn out that way, but it did. But he did, like I said, Bill, he did win his 250 game as a Met, so he hit a milestone as a Met. But yeah, it's like, think about it. Babe Ruth, he basically, if there isn't Babe Ruth, baseball isn't as popular, right?
Right.
He really made baseball what it was. The Yankees, the house that Ruth built.
Like, how can you not vote him in?
Like, did someone say, well, he was always drunk and, whatever. Maybe that's it. Okay, so we'll say that about Willie Mays. I mean, about Babe Ruth. But what about Willie Mays? How could anybody not put Willie Mays on their ballot?
It doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense. I can't wait to see Shohei Ohtani become, he's got to be 100%. Like, how is someone going to say, nah, he didn't hit enough home runs or he didn't pitch enough? Like, nah, he didn't do enough. How can you not vote for him? And I don't care. And this was the other argument too. A lot of people are like, oh, well, maybe there were too many people on the ballot that you wanted to vote in. And you figured, okay, like say the year whoever, right? Tom Seaver goes in, right? That year. There was probably a bunch of Hall of Famers that year on the ballot. So somebody was like, you know what? I'm not going to waste my vote on Tom Seaver because everybody's voting him. Let me give it to Joe Schmo because I think he might need a couple of votes. So let me vote for him.
That's possible. The year that Seaver had the highest percentage until the year Griffey and Piazza went in. Then Griffey had a higher percentage than Seaver, but Seaver had that for a long time. But how about with Ichiro, right? One guy didn't vote for Ichiro, right? And they made a big deal. They made a big deal about that. How could you not vote for him? And it's right, but it's like every player except for Mariano didn't get 100% of the votes.
Yeah, let's look at this. Is the Tom Seaver ballot, right?
Okay.
There you go. So there is, other than Seaver, Fingers,
Ronnie Fingers,
Perez, Bill Maz, Tony Oliva, Santo, Jim Cott, Maury Willis, Ken Boyer, Dick Allen, Minnie Minosa, Joe Torre. All those guys were on the Hall of Fame ballot that year. Pete Rose was on the ballot that year. Thurman Munson.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Seaver had almost 99%. So, him and Fingers got in. But it's something that, and a lot of these writers too that do stuff like this do it just to be different, because like that's another one with Jeter, right? Wasn't there controversy with Jeter too?
I think one person didn't vote for him.
Yeah, so he's another one that one person didn't vote for. I'll never understand that.
No, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, and there's no excuse, right? There's just there's no excuse. Here's the Jeter one. We could look here. Like, who else are you voting for on that ballot other than Jeter?
Yeah, well, Larry Walker made it in, right?
Yep, Larry Walker, and that was his last year of eligibility.
Yeah. Okay, Schilling
Kurt
was
Schilling,
on that.
Clemens, Barry Bonds, Omar Vizquel. Talk about guys that did not get in, by the way.
Bonds, right? I know. But
Scott Rowland got in, Wagner eventually, Helton eventually, Jeff Kent eventually, Andrew Jones, but that was years later. So
do you Chris, do you think Bonds ever gets in?
Oh,
do you think the Veterans Committee or something like that?
I don't know. I would hope they do, but I just don't think they will. I hope they do, because listen, and we always talk about it, right? Like, who knows how many people were using it when he was using it, right? And he technically did not fail any tests, right?
Right.
He didn't get suspended. He's not like, listen, that's where I always draw the line. I think we talked about it a few times. That's where I draw the line. Like, if you get caught and if you got suspended, then you know what? No, you can't get into the Hall of Fame, right? So guys like A-Rod, as great as he was, and I know it wasn't the steroids, he literally got suspended, right? I mean, twice. Yeah, he got suspended. Not once, but twice.
I know.
So I don't think he should get in. Robbie Cano, great second baseman. Sorry, you got suspended how many times? 3 times? Right? Or twice? Yeah. Whatever it was. Twice.
And once when it was, I mean, come on. What do you?
It made no sense.
If you get caught once, it's like, but twice, it's like, do you think it's gonna? Okay, they got me last time. They're never gonna get me again.
Right?
They're not gonna get me.
It doesn't make sense. Like, what are you doing? It just and those guys were great players, regardless of the steroids. That's what got me. Like, A-Rod was an unbelievable player. You talk about one of the greatest players we're ever going to see. He didn't need steroids. If you let him in, they all go in, right? Or at least let them in and make a separate wing for steroid users or the steroid years. I would put it on the plaque. Like, when you put the plaque up, let it all their stuff say he played during the steroid era and was, you could say was suspected of using it for some of them, but some of the other guys actually got tested positive.
Right.
But yeah, I agree. They should put something, because listen, they put the commissioner in that oversaw that steroid era. So if they put him in, and him, he turned his face on all of that because, hey, we're doing great, right?
He turned his head because McGuire and Sosa were having the home run race and everybody came back to baseball. If you remember, it was a big thing. They had updates every day. Like, whatever game you were watching, they would put the update. A lot of times they would break to the bats.
Right. Exactly.
Okay,
and
I didn't hear anybody
see that now. I don't think.
No, I didn't hear anybody crying about steroid use then. It was huge, and
it was huge. People don't realize how big it was if they didn't live through it. It was crazy.
Yeah,
it was awesome. And don't get me wrong, I loved it.
It was, but I don't condone these players. But listen, what they did was wrong. But when it's like kids, if a kid steals a piece of candy and the teacher sees them and they get away with it, right? It's the same thing. The commissioner, baseball executives, everyone just turn their heads, and so that's what's wrong. And he's in the Hall of Fame, which is another thing. Why is he in the Hall of Fame?
Right. Exactly.
Why?
That's the thing that bothers me.
Yeah. Why is he in the Hall of Fame, Seelig? I don't know why he's in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Do you think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame? I don't think he
No.
deserves to be in the Hall of
No.
Fame.
And again, if you're going to put him in, then you should put these other guys in. You just
Yeah,
should.
I
You know, like
agree.
to me, Bonds was a great hitter, regardless. Okay, steroids. You want to say it helped him hit some home runs? Okay, but how many? Like you can't tell me exactly how many home runs he hit because
Right.
of steroids, right? Nobody can. Nobody can.
No,
But the
'cause he
guy
was
was a great player. Period. A-Rod, great player. Period. Yeah, the steroids helped him. Whatever, but you know they were still great players, and
yeah,
they without a doubt deserve to get in.
but I do think that with Clemens, we did see steroid rage in that World Series. You know,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I would
with
say
Piazza.
so.
Okay, that just wasn't normal.
Yeah, that was pretty obvious, but
Yeah.
but
That
yeah,
was
it's listen, it's such a weird topic because no other league deals with it. Like baseball's the
right.
only one that has to deal with this stuff. But unfortunately, it happened. It was an error that happened, and they should just, I don't want to say celebrate it, but they should acknowledge that it happened, right?
Exactly.
And I think
Right.
the Hall of Fame should acknowledge. Listen, you acknowledge everything else. You acknowledge, Jackie Robinson breaking, the color barrier. So you still acknowledge what happened before that,
Right.
right? And all the stats that Barry Bonds did, A-Rod, all these guys, they're all in the record book. Barry Bonds
Yeah.
is the home run leader.
And
Simple.
Chris, and there's bats and uniforms and balls from these guys in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
So they acknowledge that it happened.
Yeah.
They say in their record book, oh yeah, he's the home run king. Okay. So why doesn't he have a plaque?
I know. It makes
He's
no
in the Hall of
sense.
Fame. He's in the stat books, right? He's in the record books. So
But-
it just, I don't know. It's
Yeah,
it's so weird. It's only
I
baseball,
know.
but it's weird.
Anyway, we'll be talking about that a lot more. We're probably gonna have a lot of time to talk about stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
With the word stoppage. All right, so July 9th is a pretty big day in New York history, right?
Yep.
I'll bring up one. This is July 9th, 1969 is when Tom Seaver's imperfect game happened, where he was pitching a perfect game into the ninth, and Jimmy Quails gets up and he hits his first pitch for a clean single, and there goes the perfect game. Which that was a great game. Seaver pitched a great game, and unfortunately, someone named Jimmy Quails, who no one would remember except for this, got a single. So that was one. And then what's the other one with Jeter, Chris?
15 years ago today, Derek Jeter joined the 3,000 hit club, right? We all know it. Great call by Michael Kay with an exclamation point, right?
Yeah, right.
Off of Tampa Bay, David Price, right? Great, another really good left-handed pitcher. But yeah, that was he went 5 for 5 that game. It just added to Jeter's lore or his just unbelievable career. Like he gets his 3,000 hit with a home run, going 5 for 5, driving in the game-winning RBI. We all know famously his last game at Yankee Stadium, right? He got the game-winning hit.
Yeah.
All that. So it's just one more thing that Jeter just adds to this like storybook career that he had. Like there's been obviously many great players and better players than Jeter. But when you look at his career and just how it went, I mean, the guy was just amazing. Like how lucky can one guy be, right? Throughout his career,
Yep.
and just to have these moments after moments, like who wins their career with a walk-off hit? Like really?
I know.
Right? Everybody's last at bat is like a pop-up or something, or, oh, here comes the old man, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day, but he's one more at bat for the old guy. No, this guy freaking gets a walk-off base hit at Yankee Stadium to end his career.
He put
and he
the
played one
exclamation
game.
point.
He played one game at Yankee Stadium that the playoffs were not that, like the playoffs were uh, uh they were still able to get into the playoffs
Yeah.
in every game he played but one at Yankee Stadium, which is
That's
unbelievable when
amazing.
you think about that.
That is unbelievable. So
Incredible.
yeah, 15 years ago already. Damn, time is flying. And real quick, I don't know if you have. I forgot to tell you. I don't know if you have the Staten Island Jayhawks thing up or anything, but real quick, I wanted to do 60 seconds with the Staten Island Jayhawks because I wanted to tell Met fans out there that you're going to see a lot of Wally Backman's face on New York City buses in Staten Island, because they're having a deal for the Staten Island Jayhawks.
Ferry Hawks.
Hey, Ferry Hawks. I've called them Jayhawks. I'm thinking of Kansas. Thank you. I'm like, why did I call them the Jayhawks? The Ferry Hawks. There it is.
The Ferry Hawks.
I don't know why. I think I wrote it down too. I was thinking of Kansas. I was thinking of KC. Sorry, the Jayhawks, the Ferry Hawks. That's the first time I made that mistake. But the Ferry Hawks. Anyway, so Wally Backman's going to be on buses all over Staten Island, and they're offering $10 tickets on those buses. So if you use the code word Wally, you get $10 tickets for the Ferry Hawks. Sorry about that, Ferry Hawks. I didn't mean to call you Kansas.
And one of their players got promoted to the majors, right? Or got signed to the majors.
Yeah.
I forgot what his name was, but someone did get promoted this year.
To Pittsburgh. That I got right. So anyway, one more time, the Ferry Hawks are going to have $10 tickets. I think I've been doing too many shows, Chris, in the past 2 days.
I think so.
But anyway, this is the best for the Ferry Hawks. If you just use the code Wally. And one more thing about a former Yankee Al Holland passed away. He was a relief pitcher. He was pretty decent. He won the Rolaids Pitcher of the Year in 1983 for the Phillies. For the Yankees, do you remember him pitching at all? Were you probably too young, I guess?
Yeah, no, I do. I remember a little bit of him. I do, especially with the Phillies. With us, he was at the end of his career, so I don't remember. He didn't pitch well with the Yankees when he was with us. I don't remember. I'd have to look at his stats, but
he was. I'll
memorable.
Give you his stats. He was 1-0 with a 6.48 ERA in 28 appearances in for 2 years for the Yankees, 1985 and 1986. So
yeah,
those were the 2 years that the Mets. Well, I'll give them up to 88 that the Mets were the team in New York.
He made one All-Star, and he was the Rolaids Relief Man Award winner 1 year too.
Yeah.
So he had a couple of good years. Had a nice career, 10-year career. Phillies, Giants, Pittsburgh, Yankees, California as well. But yeah, listen, it's sad whenever you're young guy, 73, not an old guy at all. So yeah, no, rest in peace.
Yeah,
Mr.
it is. So you got anything else, Chris? Because this hour flew by as usual.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think we covered everything. We're going to be doing our Clearing the Bases show next week. We're going to be doing Wednesdays. But I think actually next week we might do Tuesday because it's the All-Star game. So we might do something. If not, it's either Tuesday or Wednesday for the All-Star game.
We'll let you know on Monday because we'll be here Monday at 3 p.m.
Yeah, so we'll get more into details, but we're gonna do more of what we had last week. Not last week. What we had last night. If everybody kind of tuned in, kind of an open discussion, what's going on with this current state of the game. What's happening, especially as we get near the trade deadline. We're going to really get into that soon too. So definitely look out for that. So, but either way, if you haven't yet, if you're on YouTube, hit that like button, that sub button. We'd really appreciate it. Just helps this station grow, the show grow. Excuse me.
And listen, before we go, you guys have been great. Really, we've been getting a lot of views, and because of that stuff, we're able to get all these great guests that we have too, because they see people are watching, and then they see that other guests are on the show, and they want to come on, so that we have that, and we really appreciate it, and just hope that you get talk to your friends if they like baseball, and get them to subscribe to us. We definitely would appreciate it. But I just want to thank you. And Chris, we will see everybody Monday at 3 p.m. Have a good weekend.
Take care.